back to the black bean tree. There you can see one of the few remaining flowers in this one. This one doesn't look to be particularly healthy, but funny enough, it's the only one that had loads, or where there's still loads and loads of fruit, but a lot of damaged fruit as well here. They're like, I harvested some of them, must be like maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I harvested them because they were a staple food for the Aborigines. That's, I guess, why you call them also Moreton Bay chestnut, and also the botanical name Castanospermum australe. Castanospermum basically means chestnut-seeded Australian bean. And so there's I'm gonna link a video of the famous Australian survivalist, just forgot what he's called, but he has a video about how to prepare them so you can eat them, to make damper. Booger, I think, is what they called it. And so you have to basically roast it in a fire and then leach it in running water for 3 days, and then you can make kind of a bread pancake out of it. And because they're highly poisonous, you can always harvest them. It's very easy, just gotta gather them and do the process. So it's also survival food. But what we're gonna talk about is even more important, and that is that those seeds, again, that's a damaged one, not only are they big and nutritious after you have detoxified them, but they also have a lot of nutrients to germinate on their own without needing good soil. So I think they can play key alongside their ability to fix nitrogen, because they're being a nitrogen fixing tree. I think they have a huge potential for recovery of Australia. And alongside the cluster figs, they're the main species that has survived this native replanting here, where a lot has died. So, and for that I want to introduce another idea, and that is that I have done some experiments back home, and especially one is worth mentioning in a kindergarten, where we planted potatoes and Madagascar beans or lima beans under woodchip, and it was woodchip 30 to 40 centimeters deep, like broad woodchip, like very crude, like basically from here to here. And we just put the beans and the potatoes down here, and both the beans very fast, very rapid, made their way through the whole wood chips. So I've worked for 2 days on a recovery experiment out in Wilkesdale, Kingaroy in South Queensland from God's Way. And God's Way is trying to plant terraces, to make terraces. Out of what they're doing is they're making terraces to store the water, and then they're seeding native seeds. And they're trying out different ways of doing that. And they had issues with that the mulch would cover over lots of small seed and they wouldn't germinate. So I think one of the species that would very much be suited to be planted in mulch would be this, because not only they're the same family like the bean that went through 30 centimeters of mulch, and they're even bigger. They have more nutrient storage. So not only have they the inherent nutrient storage, but they could also be one of the few ones that you could actually plant with a lot of soil food, which is mulch. So you could get them established very, very fast. And when you establish them very, very fast, they will help create an environment for the others to establish better. And the last thing I want to mention there is what I found out through the tamarind tree, that shelter from the morning sun is very, very important, so the dew doesn't get carried away by the heat of the sun and the wind. So if we have a wind break and a sun break, as you want to say, on the morning sun side, then I think that's going to highly improve the chances and the growth of the young seed and seedling. So what I would suggest with any replanting is that one does a firm lime of deep wood chip on the morning side and plants loads of species like those, which can then, based on the lot of nutrients they have inside of them and around them and the capacity to grow through the mulch and in the mulch, which acts like a sponge, that they can actually very fast bring up a windbreak and a sunbreak, morning sunbreak, and that will enhance the whole project. And maybe lastly, why I mention all this, and what I mentioned already in the other video about this beautiful tree, is that I hope to help to establish a data and seed bank. That's actually one of the things that God's Way is about to do, and I'm doing that a bit on my own. And what I'm doing is I'm collecting all kinds of information that I have about species, in this case an Australian native species, but eventually, as I said, we would like to do that everywhere on the planet, and basically have that information available for everybody, and also the seeds available for everybody. So you can go and you can you can search for a specific function of a plant, like maybe a tall, shading tree that is very beneficial to loads of birds and butterfly, like this one. And then you can find a result, and anybody could potentially add to that. So like if you have, let's say I will be growing one of these, and then I will, through the years, be able to notice which kinds of species he'll attract, and so we can enhance this the information about this tree further. And so this is kind of a portrait of this specific tree, of the black bean tree, that and some of the functions that I think it already has and it could have for important aspects of human physical life, such as environmental recovery and food production. Thank you for listening.